Hey folks, this is Vince with Ads Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Spellbook. This game is for 2 players for ages 12 and up, with the average play time being about 30 minutes. This game is sort of like a miniature Magic the Gathering. You're going to be tapping mana, summoning creatures, casting spells, that kind of thing, and your ultimate goal is to reduce your opponent's life force to 0 before they can do the same to you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the components and see how the game is played. Okay, so as far as your components and game setup, here's a quick look at the box. As you can see, it's fairly thick. You've got your rulebook over here as well. It's not too big, so getting through this will only take, like, I don't know, 10-20 minutes. As far as the components themselves, you've got 100 cards here. What you're going to do in the very beginning is shuffle all 100 cards and deal 50 to each player to form their starting deck. So each player doesn't have their own individual deck. You just simply mix up all the cards and pass them out evenly between both players. You're also going to give players 3 mana cards each. There are no more mana cards in the deck that you're going to be laying out like in Magic the Gathering, though there are some cards that you can play to give you temporary mana that's extra for that particular turn. And once you do that, each player gets 5 cards from their deck, and players will choose a starting player at random. Okay, so like I was saying before, the object of the game is to reduce your opponent's life force to 0. But you don't need a piece of paper and a pencil in order to do it, or a 20-sided die. The deck is actually your life force. So the more cards you draw from your deck, the weaker you get in terms of life points. It doesn't actually affect you in any way, but you'll be closer to losing the game the faster you go through your cards. And when you attack the other player, instead of doing damage against some invisible number, you're going to be taking cards away from their deck and putting it into a discard pile of sorts. Now on your turn, what you're going to do is you're going to untap all of your mana, you're going to draw up to 5 cards, and then you can play whatever cards you want, assuming you have the mana to do so. Playing cards is fairly easy. You're just going to take a look here, and there's a lot of different cards in this deck, and I'll show you a few samples in a minute. But just to give you a quick look at what a turn might look like, or what some cards may look like as they're played, there is a mana cost in the upper right-hand corner. There's a little blue number here. This one is worth 0, so I can play that for free if I want to. This also gives me 2 mana from the looks of it, so I'll be able to use this card to give myself extra mana or extra casting power for this turn if I want. I could play Mirage here, which is a 1 mana cost here, and it's a protect spell, so I could use it to protect myself against an attack from him. You can play cards on your opponent's turn, but remember, you don't untap your mana until the beginning of your next turn. So whenever you finish your turn, you may want to leave some mana untapped so that you can play some defensive cards like this on your opponent's turn. And you've also got some symbols down here, like his is block, and then this is a scroll, which is basically it gives you a free cast on your next turn. So whenever you play this on your next turn, you can play a card for free regardless of the mana cost, which is pretty cool. And another thing you have to look at, these cards have elemental effects associated with them. Like, these ones all are colored in right now, but some of these cards are not. Like this fire up here is grayed out. This frost or ice up here is grayed out. However, this one over here on the left, that's colored in. So this particular Minotaur card is unique to that elemental. And whenever you're being attacked by a creature or a spell of a particular elemental type, like let's say you're being attacked by something that has fire associated with it. In order to block it, you'd need a block spell or a protect spell that protects you against fire. If you only had a block that would protect you against frost, it would not work. So whenever you're blocking or attacking, you want to pay attention to these elemental associations. So just to quickly show you what a play might look like, let's just play the, I guess we'll play the Minotaur, that's fine. That's a 2 cost here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that down. Now, if the opponent has anything to block with or anything like that, he can go ahead and play it. Now, I have to pay 2 mana in order to do that, so I'm going to tap these like that. And I do 3 damage. So all I do is I just take the top 3 cards from his deck, put it into their discard pile, and that's that. Now, this is a summoned creature, and they will remain on the table. They don't do any more damage throughout the game, but the opponent has to destroy this card. Here's the creature's health here. The opponent has to destroy this card in order to attack me and actually do direct damage to my deck. So that's just one example of a play. Instead of doing that, I could do, say, let's take a look at these other cards and see what I have. Okay, attack spell. Opponent must discard all the cards in their hand and draw 5 new ones. It has a cost of 3. And these are the elemental effects associated with them. So if he had a defense spell of some sort that matched any of these 3 colored symbols, then he could play it and block this attack or this spell. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tap all 3 like that, play this, and then I can force him to discard these 5 cards into his discard pile and draw 5 more. It's pretty damaging, considering that, again, once you run out of cards, you lose the game. Okay, so the cards are really the meat and potatoes of the game, so I want to give you a few samples here so you can see what you're getting should you decide to pick up this game. Here's the Maelstrom card. As you can see, it's got 3 out of the 6 elementals associated with it. It's an attack spell. Opponent must discard all the cards in their hand and draw 5 new ones. So we already touched on that one. There is a fire trap. This card is actually played face down in front of you. And then whenever your opponent attacks you with a spell, you can reveal it and then block it. So that's pretty cool. You've got this Reanimate. This is a heal spell. Now, this book means that you, whenever you play it, you can take a card from your discard pile and put it into your hand. According to this, it's just 1 card. If there was like 2 or 3 here, then you could take 2 or 3 cards from your discard pile and put it into your hand. Again, different cards have different effects and all that. The Ring of Skulls. This is an equipment card. You play this in front of you, and it's a permanent effect. All attack spells you cast do +1 additional damage. Pretty cool. Wizard Hat, another equipment card. All the opponent's attack spells receive -1 damage when casted on you. Blessing, heal spell. Now, healing works similar to that draw or that book symbol that you saw. Instead, though, instead of placing the cards from your discard pile into your hand, you're going to put them into your deck and then shuffle your deck up. So healing and drawing work similarly, but with the draw, you actually get to put it in your hand. With the heal spell, you have to put it into your deck and shuffle that up. The Golem is another summon spell, so you can just put this creature in front of you. It does immediate 2 damage, and then it remains on the table, and your opponent needs to hit it twice or do 2 damage to it to get rid of it, and then they can attack you. Infection is an attack spell, 2 attack damage, and this little scroll here means that your next spell or card that you play is a free cast, so you don't have to worry about the mana cost up here. Meditate, again, it's a heal spell. Unblockable, there's a symbol that we haven't seen yet. Mirage, this is a protect spell. Okay, summon spell, yeah, we've seen these. Okay, so yeah, there you go. A quick sampling of some of the cards in this game. Okay, so there you have it, a very brief look at Spellbook. It's important to stress that I did not cover all of the rules found in the manual. This was just to give you a general overview so that you could see how the game was played. As far as what I thought, I kind of like this card game, honestly. I do dabble in Magic the Gathering from time to time, but it's a little bit too complicated for me. Now, if I had spent more time playing Magic the Gathering, I might be okay with it. But I play so many games that I can't keep up with all of the new cards, and then Planeswalkers were introduced, and just every year there's something else that I need to think about when I'm playing Magic the Gathering. Luckily, you can play Magic for fun. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. But still, Magic the Gathering has a lot of stuff associated with it, a lot of different card effects. This is much more simplistic, and I can jump into this one much more easily. So this is sort of like a light version of Magic the Gathering. It's much more accessible to people that like Magic the Gathering but can't play it just because they're overwhelmed by everything. So definitely a great alternative to Magic the Gathering. The price on the Game Crafter for this, there's actually 2 versions on the Game Crafter. There's this one, which costs about $20. There are some expansions to it, and then there's the deluxe version, which includes everything. I think the deluxe version's like $45, something like that. Now, I know what you're thinking, $20 for a card game. Part of me has a problem with it, part of me doesn't. The part of me that does have a problem with it is the part of me that says, okay, well, Star Realms and other card games on the market usually retail for about 10 or 15 bucks. So why the extra 5 bucks? Why is it more expensive? I've been told on a regular basis from developers that unless you're mass producing a product, it's just more expensive to make, and they have to charge a higher price to make a return on it. But as a consumer, I don't think about that. Well, I'm more attuned to that side of things because I work with developers. But as the average consumer, I would not think about the costs associated with it. All I'd think about is my wallet and how much was being taken out to buy something. But, so part of me is a little wary of the extra $5, but at the same time, it's only $5. It's not a huge leap in terms of price. And on top of that, in Magic the Gathering, you're going to be spending a crap ton of money on booster packs. Here, you can get everything you need, and just by buying it one time. That's it. You're paying 20 bucks. It has everything you need. That's it. You don't have to buy all these boosters, these expansions over here. I've already spent over $100 on Magic the Gathering. So, I mean, I can just buy this once and be done with it. So, when I think about it, yeah, 20 bucks is higher than what I expect. At the same time, it's a better value than, you know, for the casual Magic the Gathering player. So, yeah, just either way you look at it, I mean, there's some positives and some negatives there. So, yeah, Spellbook, really cool game, lots of cool cards, great artwork, by the way, and very simple to play. If you guys want to check out my full review, you can, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.